One of the questions on my mind coming into this exercise of learning gems is really what kind of learning is most useful, most powerful, most transformative as we are called to respond to complexity such as climate change, such as sustainability crises. And part of that is being in touch with the subjective, being in touch with internal state, our own states, and with the state of the world. So it's a little bit different from how we've been usually taught what learning is. Learning has been often only the external state of the world. So with that in mind, this exercise called Learning Gems was designed to bring people into kind of a simultaneous holding, if you will, of internal and external, starting very much with the internal state and very much relying on the relationship of dialogue, a relationship of listening with the other. So I'm going to share a few setup slides. And so as I was saying, we're calling this the Learning Gems exercise. And the idea is that we already actually know what it is we need to know. I know that's a shocking proposal, because I suppose this kind of exercise is most useful for people who at least are over the age of 20 or so. So kind of all the content that we needed is there, and or we know how to get to that content. So it's not about content, right? It's about learning more how to learn in Bateson's terms. And one of the ways to go there, we've been really understanding since, I would say, William James or Paulo Freire really brought it back to us as a more radical proposition, that we need to go to our own experience. And so there's a sense that maybe if y'all could mute, it would be helpful. So there's a sense that the learning gems that we have ourselves, each of us, if we can put them into a basket together, we begin to get somewhere together. So this Learning Gems exercise has some really simple questions, and you'll find them at the following link. And the idea is to, generally speaking, set aside about an hour or so with a recorder handy. And one person plays the role of person A, who is the learner, if you will, who's sharing from her or his own learning. And then person B is actually the more important person here. They are doing the active listening, what Carl Rogers called active listening, which becomes action listening later on, because there's an interlude at the end where they step in and they share what's landing for them. So it becomes a kind of a relational learning, and then some completion. So the exercise here, and I'm hoping to do it with my pal Alistair, is I will start with calling to mind, or actually what actually happens is Alistair calls me to start to call to mind a transformative change work effort that I'm in, that I'm kind of on my learning edge, right? And I haven't even decided what that will be. So it's good to be unprepared. And then person B helps speak back so that there's an actual learning about what it is we're even talking about. So that's how new, how fresh, if you will, this can be. And you don't have to follow along with these slides, but if you wanted to, we'll make the slides available so that when you do this in your own practice, you can have a sense of what might be good prompts. We do recommend that you use the actual questions. They're really very simple questions. The power of this is in listening and in speaking back. So just by way of reminding us, I love this little dog with the big ears. You know, we have two ears and one mouth. It's a simple way of saying, let's listen a little bit more than we do speak. And so that's true for both person A and person B, because a lot of the learning about what we're learning comes from listening to one's own self. So pausing from time to time is good. It's kind of a slow exercise. It's not a particularly efficient exercise. It is, at least we believe it is, quite effective. That's what we've been seeing so far. Mind ninja, all the letters of the word silent are in the word listen. So with that, here is the first question. So I'm going to step out of the role as the one who's been talking about this and actually step into the experience of doing it with my pal.